great introduction, and I want to apologize in advance for all the coughing because, of course, I'm going to get sick before by the day of the speech. The fuzz, the 5-0, pigs, cops. Every one of us as college students have had experience with the law enforcement. We all have our opinions of law enforcement personnel, and I have a positive connotation, and many of you have offered in the survey a positive connotation of police officers as well. Up until I was 17 years old, I had a noble and idealistic view of law enforcement. Nothing would ever go wrong. I follow the rules. I'm afraid of my parents, so I'm not going to screw up. That is until I was standing by my car, accused of violations I never committed, and watching it be searched illegally by officers who lied to me. The event left me shaken and interested in researching ways to exercise my rights and find out what really they legally were able to do to me and my friends. Neil Harris, a 33-year veteran of 2 police departments in Baltimore and the state police in Maryland, has stated, "Few people understand your constitutional rights only apply if you assert them." To help you better understand how to flex your rights, I would like to educate you on how to effectively communicate with law enforcement and how to properly conduct yourself when dealing with officers. This Saturday started like any other. Me and my buddies were hungry. We were real hungry. And Nona's had the best pizza in town. So we made the drive. Now, on our way back, my friend Nathan wasn't exactly the smartest of all of us. He liked to whip around in his truck. So when we pull up to a stop sign, me and my car behind his truck, he thought it'd be funny to squeal his tires and take off. Maybe he was blind, maybe he was momentarily blind, but a police officer was sitting right there at the intersection, watching him with a bewildered look on his face. What is this kid doing? And then instantly pulled out right after him. Now, having Nathan be my friend, of course we all sat in my car and had a good laugh about how stupid he is. But what we didn't think is what would happen next, that the officer would try to pull us over as well, screaming profanities out his window, telling us to get on the side of the road. This left us all confused, very confused. Professor James Duane of the Regent University School of Law has stated that Fifth Amendment's basic function is to protect the innocent of ambiguous circumstances. Now let me explain why that's important. Nathan should have never opened his mouth when he's told the cop that they didn't know us. Now they're suspicious. And now we're confused because we're telling the cops they're our friends. Nathan's dumb. He just wanted to squeal his tires and show off. We have no idea what he's talking about when he says he doesn't know us. Now, if you're a cop, what are you thinking? Our stories don't match up? Wheels are turning in your head. At this point, 5 squad cars come up. Another officer comes and tells me, well, my buddy's telling me you blew a stop sign, you guys are street racing, you're speeding through the neighborhood, and you weren't wearing your seatbelt. 17 years old, really the first time I'd ever had any experience with the police, other than 2 speeding tickets. I was scared out of my mind. My friends, all their eyes wide as silver dollars. They don't know what's happening next. Before we even know it, we're outside of the car. And the second mistake that me and my friends made was leaving the door open when exiting the vehicle. Now, before you can, Martin Hryn, a New York traffic attorney, has said, if you consent, no part of your vehicle is off limits to the search of an officer. And that includes the idea that silence is consent. I didn't say anything, the door was left open. Instantly, officers were in my vehicle. Before they even asked me, would it be alright if we took a look around? I didn't have any drugs on me. I didn't have anything incriminating on me. So of course, and scared out of my mind, I let him go to town. What seemed like an agonizing half hour standing next to a t-ball field as all the parents are getting excited to see this drug bust going on, the officer tells us it's okay to get back in our vehicle. I'm still worried. One more ticket, my license gone, just like that. Now, another female officer comes up to the side of my door and says, "You're free to go." I'm confused. "What about what you just told me? We didn't tell you anything." "What do you mean? You accused me of street racing, not wearing a seatbelt, blowing a stop sign, and a whole bunch of things that didn't happen." No mention further of anything of the sort. At the end, we all went back to my house, had a good laugh about it. Nathan got a $75 reckless driving ticket, but it left me scarred, changed, because up until that point, all officers were good. I didn't realize that police officers are people like you and me. They make mistakes. They have prejudgments. So, as I look back on my experience, I learned two very important lessons. You should always know your rights and understand when to exercise them and when you're being abused legally by law. Another is always conduct yourself properly and respectfully when dealing with law enforcement officers. No need for lip, because that'll get you nowhere. And the number one rule is never lie to a cop, ever, because you're always going to end up getting screwed even harder.